Hey, welcome back to another episode of Dad Advice for You. I'm Bob,
I'm John.
and we're here today to give you some of our advice from our many years of failures as fathers.
That's about what it is,
That's
really.
right.
Let's be honest.
We're teaching along the way. You learn from your mistakes. We've made a lot of them, and so you're gonna learn from them. Hopefully, you don't make the same ones. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We want to talk about family traditions.
I think this will be fun, actually.
Yeah,
I know sometimes some people kind of like cringe a little bit at tradition,
right.
but I think just bear with us. Just watch.
We just think that having family traditions that are important for your kids and your family to remember. I know with our kids, they've all grown, but they remember those times in which we did fun things together as a family. So we're just going to share with you some of our family traditions, and if you have family traditions that you want to share, pop them on the comment screen. We would love to hear that. We'd love to share those with our audience. So let's just kick it off, John.
Well, and I think here's the deal. I think we didn't come up with these. Our kids told us later, like, man, it was sure cool that we did this.
Right.
So that's where these really come from. It's
Right.
not that we just came up with this and our wives.
Right.
So one of the things that I want to start with, and this was kind of a funny one.
This
with
was
my
really
son.
a cool one.
Well,
Really
and
a
I
cool
didn't.
one.
This wasn't me. This wasn't original. I heard it from someone else. But I would dress my son up in the same suit every birthday and take his pictures. And so you're thinking right now, like when he was 1, yeah, I did that. We stuck him in there. He was a little tiny baby, and we took a picture. And I've got every picture, I think, till he's like maybe 21. And it's just kind of fun because he grew right up and he grew into that suit. And it was just kind of
Yeah.
a fun
Right.
little thing to do.
Right.
And I don't know, I guess it was a tradition with us, and it's something that it was fun.
I thought it was a lot of fun to watch, to see those pictures, as we go over to their house for events or activities, just to see that. It was a fun thing. One thing that I did, I have 4 daughters and a son, and I really had a job where I traveled a little bit when I was had a young family.
Right.
And so I really made a point that on Saturdays I would take my daughters out on a date. And we would, obviously it's age appropriate. So when they were real little, we went to McDonald's and played in the play structure. But as they got older, we would do different things, and it was a time really for me to connect with them one-on-one, especially in a big family. I think it's hard for everybody to feel unique because we got a lot of kids. So they had an opportunity to spend 3 or 4 hours with Dad. We would go to Pietro's Pizza, which is one of my favorites. They had video games there. We play video games. Then we go to Claire's. If you don't know what Claire's is, it's a kind of a low-end kids jewelry shop. So we would do those things, and I would talk to them about what to expect on a date, how a man should treat you, how a young man should open the car door for you, should ask to allow you to order first. I would model those things. Sometimes they were verbally said out loud, and sometimes they weren't. They were just modeled. And my kids, to this day, come back and talk about those times with Dad. Obviously, with my son, we did different things, but it was a great family tradition that they've come back and said they really loved.
No, and those are all good things, and we've got a lot of different things. One of the things that I've done with my children, and it's not a big deal, and it's probably more of a history of the year. So every year on their birthday, I write, it's not a lot, it's probably a page and a half. It takes me maybe 45 minutes to kind of go through some of the things, their highlights in their life. It might be, hey, Austin hit a home run at this game, or we went over to Cove Palisades and he learned to water ski, or Olivia did some of her dance routines. It's just kind of recapping a little bit, and I try to always end it a little bit more like I think my brother-in-law would do, and just a little bit more of like, so here's, we love you guys, we love you, and we're looking, we're hoping that you do great things, and just sort of a affirmation of who
great.
they are.
That's really
and
great.
I kind of learned that from him, and actually his brother-in-law. Just like, okay, I kind of modified a little bit, and I don't get real deep.
Right.
But it's just kind of something that I know that they're going to enjoy, and I've kind of kept this from them. But I think that I'm sure my son's got on my computer and seen a little bit of that, and so I think he appreciates it.
Right, that's a great one. One of the things that my wife suggested we do is that at birthdays, when we have enough of us around and we're celebrating a family birthday, after dessert and before you open up the presents, the
Right.
birthday presents, we all go around the room and share something that they appreciate about that family member. And I tell you,
That's good.
it really has been a great family tradition for us. And even, obviously we want everybody to be involved, and even some of the younger kids just say, I appreciate the way you color, or I appreciate that you call me. But as you get older, it really gets very, very interesting to see what people appreciate about you. And what really validates you as a person, when you have
Yeah.
6 or 7 or sometimes 8 people, 10 people talking to you and saying, here's what I appreciate about you. I appreciate the fact that you have a kind heart, and they give examples of, I noticed this the other day, you did this to this person. I appreciate that about you. That builds confidence, that builds security in that person. So that's been a great tradition that we
And
do.
sometimes it's like you not necessarily want to bring somebody to tears, but it
Right.
will bring
It
somebody
will.
to tears, because just hearing
Yeah.
someone say how much they value. Along with that, I know Bob and Jackie, we've been for years coming over for Thanksgiving. They're nice enough to open their home, and they've got a beautiful home, and we have a big Thanksgiving dinner. And one of their traditions is, and it's funny, you go around. I mean, it's kind of simple thing.
Very
you
simple.
Talk about what you're thankful for.
Right.
And I know that my kids at first kind of weren't sure about that, but at the end of the day, we've talked about this for years and years and years. Of some of the things, like my son lettered in wrestling and football, and he was proud of that, and I knew he was proud of it, but I didn't know how proud he was until he talked about
Yeah.
it. And
Right.
hearing things like that, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but sometimes just sharing around the table, it might be just a simple little thing with a couple aunts and uncles,
Right.
with your family.
Just being thankful. That, having a thankful heart is important, and we try to reinforce that in our family. Being thankful for whatever we have.
Another thing too that we've talked about, so we like to go to different places for vacations, and the vacations I feel like are somewhat of a tradition.
Right? Yeah.
But our kids, it might not be going there, it might be a particular part of it. One of the things I was telling Bob about earlier was that my kids, I've got a few pictures, and I don't know if you know, but there's a soda called Jones Soda, and they usually have, it's a certain type of soda. And both my kids told me it was so much fun when we would ride our bikes to the store. Dad would buy us a Jones Soda. We'd set out on the curb of the store and drink the Jones Soda. And as a dad, I didn't think that much of it, but it made a huge impression on my kids, and they remembered those things.
Something little like that. We did the same thing with vacations. I'll have to say, sometimes with this technology, John and I are not great technicians, so some of these videos they're going to get better, I promise. But I feel like I'm on Christmas vacation, and my mother-in-law says the little twinkling lights are twinkling, Clark.
They're not, Bob,
And,
but
you
that's
know,
okay.
So we apologize for this, but our dad advice for you tonight is very simple. Stop chasing. If you're finding it hard to get what you want, stop chasing it. Appreciate what you have, and what you're chasing will probably come to you. Think about it. We'd appreciate comments. We'd appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Thank you for listening. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon.
See you.